Mental emotional pain is a very debilitating experience for an individual. It has a way of robbing a person of their strength, their joy, their beauty, their abilities. And what's even worse is when a person has lost their hope in being able to recover, they begin to accept it as a life sentence. And they give up the fight that healing is possible in their life. What's even more powerful than mental illness is the advancement of behavioral health sciences, which tell us that the brain is neuroplastic and has the capacity to change. And that's tremendous news for people who've been suffering with mental illness. There are many reasons why individuals accept mental emotional pain as a life sentence. And one of those is simply the fact that the allopathic healthcare system has believed that mental illness is a genetic disposition and can only be treated with pharmaceutical drugs. And that simply is not true. And there are many sectors within allopathic health sciences that are starting to look at alternative methods and to believe that the brain can change. Another reason is that people will pursue an alternate method to mental health healing, such as counseling or psychotherapy, and use a single strategy approach, which again could be ineffective for many of our mental illnesses that people suffer with today. And being that they tried that and have not had success, they go away from that experience thinking that there's no hope in that method. And that really is where the answer is, in a multi-strategy approach, not a single strategy approach. So they fall back into this abyss of hopelessness, saying, I've tried it, it doesn't work, and not being vulnerable to go back to using that method again. So here lies the dilemma, is millions of people walk around today with a mental illness and they could experience healing. It's much like immunization in developing nations. Children don't have access to them and they can't experience being free from this disease. It's a powerful parallel, but a true parallel, and very sad. The origins of the program came into effect through a couple of experiences. The first one was a group of colleagues and I were involved in publishing monthly journals and publications and books on health topics, many of them mental health. And so we had at some points up to 1 million people a month that we were communicating with, and this was the advent of email, where we had a lot of collaboration coming back and forth. And we had tremendous feedback from people telling us what their experiences were with mental health and what was going on in their pursuit for healing. Secondly, we were seeking who the leaders in the fields of mental health were, the academic leaders and the professionals who were really seeing a huge quantum leap forward in this field. And the data simply was something we couldn't ignore on how powerful these advanced health sciences were working towards mental illnesses. So this made us begin to believe that there's new hope in the whole area of mental health. The second experience was a personal experience, and my daughter was in a serious car accident, and I spent a lot of time with her in the critical care unit in the trauma center. And while I was there, this team of doctors were amazing. There were many specialists working on her and had all different disciplines, and nurses and x-ray technicians. And day after day, watching these people coming in and out and administering this amazing care to create a healing process for my daughter, I realized that there was a multi-strategy approach being used here. And I began to think on the way home every night, why isn't that happening with mental illness? Why can't we have a multi-strategy approach that provides the greatest probability of healing for a client? The LEAP approach to developing a highly effective treatment program for an individual involves two important criteria. The first one is making sure we understand the most advanced health sciences available. As we map the brain, we understand more of the brain, and that's changing on an ongoing basis. and making sure we understand what those sciences are. The second criteria is to develop a unique treatment program for each client that's tailored for their specific needs. And this typically involves 5 key points administered during treatment, and that is the treatment plan itself. What are the specific needs of the client? The second one is the mentor. Is the mentor a male or a female? Or perhaps it's a mentor who's been through exactly that situation, and they need to have been through that situation to have the levels of empathy and understanding for that individual. So the matching of the mentor and the client is a real key factor, and we do that from the roster of mentors that we work with. The third one being frequency. How often does the client require contact with the mentor? In some cases, it could be every day during the first month, to have checkpoints that they're connecting and engaging and being able to learn how to regulate themselves, and for the mentor to be highly involved in the person's thought processes and emotional processes to teach them how to have healthier psychology. The fourth one is the healing circle. And a healing circle is simply creating a front row in our client's life and having people in the front row of their life that are cheering them on and providing encouragement and creating that moral support that's so powerful in a person's life. And that could be people that our client knows or people from our community. The last one is web technologies. Typically, sessions are not about teaching. The web does the teaching. We have videos, we have reading assignments, we have homework assignments, we have interactive journaling that the client does, that the mentor sees and responds back in the journaling processes. We have goal and behavioral metrics that are filled out so that the individual can see their progress and track micro progress. Because the brain's process of change is very slow. It's not very fast. Depression is not healed in 5 or 6 or 10 weeks. It's a process, not an event. We need to measure micro movements forward and report that. And that's the powerful tool of the web that gives us the ability to do that.